If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Christine McIver.
That is me, Christine McIver. Welcome to the Inspired Choices show for business growth. We're all about business growth here, and I am your business optimization specialist. I'm really grateful that you are here, and thank you for pressing that play button. You never know what you're going to come across when we have a conversation together, but you can be sure that I will challenge you, that I will invite you to step into more, and that I will be sharing business knowledge with you to assist you in growing your business and growing you. So today we're talking all about business optimization for 2025. This is actually the second part in our business optimization series. And this is something that is very near and dear to my heart. I've been working with business owners for many years, close to 15 years now. And I see repeatedly missed opportunities for business owners. I see gaps in people's businesses. And this just kept getting louder and louder to me that what my role was to assist business owners to optimize what they do. And in a world of 1,000 things going on and 1,000 things that need to be done, I bring my systems to the table. I bring my ideas for efficiencies to the table so that you can grow your business and have pleasure in business, because I believe that business should be pleasurable. So if you would like to connect with me, if you're listening to the show and you learn more about what I do and how you could receive support from me, or just have a conversation with me about what that would look like, contact me, Christine at christinemciver.com. That's CHRISTINE MCIVER. You can, of course, find me all across social media, or just go to my website, christinemciver.com. So today we're talking about, is your business optimized for 2025? How many people out there are struggling? Here, the recording of this episode is March the 19th, and we are 2.5 months in, nearly 3 full months into 2025, and people are still struggling to get started. People are struggling to get on their feet, to really get the momentum going for 2025. I don't think that this year is really any different than many other years, but it definitely is something that many people have been challenged with and struggling with, especially this year. We are always trying to do more and more. And I do know that, time isn't real and everything is speeding up all the time. Well, if you are not optimized in your business, it's going to feel like you are struggling and falling behind again and again. That doesn't need to be the case. You are meant to be here. You came here, you chose to come here, and your brilliance and your expertise is something that needs to be out in the world. But if you are buried in the to-dos, if you are buried in how to keep your head above water financially, it's going to be a big challenge for you to optimize your expertise, to optimize your creations, and to really be known for the expert in your field. So together today, we're going to review what we talked about in part 2, and then we're going to dive into more of the items that you can be doing to get your business optimized. Now, this is a very robust show today. And the last thing I want to do is to make you feel even like you're even more behind, okay? I want you to, and I invite you to make a list of what I'm saying, and then slowly begin to work through that list. You cannot go from 0 to 100 overnight without having a huge impact on your mental state, your physical state, and your financial state. So this is something you want to grow into. And if you see the list at the end of the show, and you see your long list, and you could accomplish one of those things, even one of those things a month, you're going to be way farther ahead than you were before you joined the call. And it will make a huge difference, not only in 2025, but in the years to come. Okay? Deal? All right. So let's get into the show. I am going to read the show notes first so you can imagine what we're going to talk about. And then I'm going to review the first part of the show, of the business optimization series. And then we will get into today. So, are you keeping up with all the challenges in the landscape of your business? To succeed in business, you must learn to optimize your operations and tasks and systems. In this episode, I'm going to break down how to future-proof your business for 2025 and beyond with practical strategies and personal growth insights. Both of these are very important. Covering several topics, including streamlining workflows, refining your customer experience, and improving efficiency automations, financial readiness, as well as developing resilience for yourself and your team, and so much more. By the end of the episode, you'll walk away with an actionable roadmap to redefine your business strategy and elevate your business leadership skills, ensuring you're not just surviving, but thriving in 2025. All right, let's talk about what went on in our first episode of this show. So the very first thing that, this is something that's really been up in my world, and especially up in my world when I'm working with clients, is you, the entrepreneur, you, the leader, your business rises to the level of how much you are growing and expanding your self-worth, your expertise, your intelligence, your streamlining of your processes. I have seen business owners talk about certain areas of expertise. Let's talk about, maybe they talk about how they're an expert in their morning programs and how they have these certain steps that they're doing every morning. And yet their office is in chaos. Their computer is in chaos. They don't have systems in place to stay organized. And then what ends up happening is things are falling by the wayside. They are missing opportunities. They're missing emails. They are missing communicating and building those strong relationships with their customers or prospective clients and customers. You cannot talk about being an expert in one area and then completely leave everything else to chaos in the other part of your life. Now, I'm not saying that if you're here right now that you may have situations that are chaos in your business. That's okay. But what's not okay is to show up only in one area, being organized and efficient, and letting everything else slide. We have got to walk our talk. And if you're not walking your talk, if you're not somebody who is organized, who is paying attention to the details, who is working to put systems in place, energetically, your future prospective clients and your current clients are going to pick up on something is off. They may not know specifically that you're leading kind of a double entrepreneurial life, showing up saying one thing and actually in chaos in the other. They may not believe that, they may not understand that that's what's going on, but energetically, they are going to pick up on something is off. But here's the bigger thing, even without looking at your customers, you yourself are going to have internal conflict going on when you are saying one thing and you know that that's not 100% true. You're going to know that. You know what? Show up authentically. Show up authentically and say, hey, I'm really good at this, good at this, good at this, and I'm still growing over here. I'm still struggling with this over here. People would rather know the truth, and it's going to ring true, and you're going to build trust with them and increase the probability of creating a relationship and possibly a customer in the future than picking up on something being off and then not wanting to connect with you at all. We are all human and we are all learning and growing every day. But if you're not making this a priority about you growing, your business is not going to grow. It's just not. You can no longer just stay comfortable in the same old, and expect that your business is going to grow, that finances is going to grow. It doesn't work like that. It absolutely requires you to be cleaning up your mess every single day, to be showing up with the best of who you are. If you want your business to grow, you must grow. And I need for you to really, really get this. You have to be holding yourself accountable to growth more than your business, more than your services, more than your marketing, more than your team, more than anything else. You, the entrepreneur, must continue to stretch yourself. You must continue to hold yourself accountable, and you must continue to evolve. Your business cannot evolve, especially when in a fast-paced marketplace, if you are not evolving. So taking care of your mental state, taking care of your physical state, optimizing your rest, optimizing your attitude, optimizing how you speak to yourself, how you treat yourself, how you make yourself a priority in joy and pleasure, and everything does have an impact on your business. Don't you want to show up in your business and have fun and have pleasure and feel peaceful within as you are starting to grow? The really cool thing is when you do this, when you're making yourself a priority, when you are holding yourself accountable to continue to grow, you let go of a lot of the judgments. You let go of the limitations, and you open up energetically and mentally to new opportunities and possibilities to come in. When you are in judgment of yourself, you are contracting your energy, and you cannot see opportunities that are right in front of you. This is so important for you to understand the impact that you make in your business, for your business, with you. This is number one. And I know I've taken up the first section of the show today, really talking about this, but this is the main priority. So self-care, both mentally, energetically, physically, psychologically, all of this is your number one job. Your number one job every single solitary day. It's not just watching the numbers. It's not holding your team accountable. It's not making sure that you're nurturing relationships with customers. It's nurturing the relationship with you. And if you don't believe that this is true, come back to me in 5 years after you haven't done any of that, and let's talk about where your business is at. Because eventually the truth does get revealed. We've seen it with entrepreneurs across all different segments of business. You have to make you a priority. You know, I often say to my clients that if you were your employee, would you fire you? If you get a maybe, you need to dig into this. If you get a hell yes, you definitely need to dig into this. One of the best ways that you can actually make you a priority is by hiring a business coach who is going to make both you a priority and your business a priority. And that's the type of coach that I am. I'm a business optimization specialist. I work with both the entrepreneur and their business. I have been coaching in this realm for more than 16 years. I think it's 17 years now. And you cannot business coach somebody without coaching the entrepreneur personally and from a business perspective. If you are looking to grow your business and you're looking to grow you and you need support to keep you in line, to keep you moving in the right direction, keeping you out of self-judgment, keeping you out of ridicule, and keeping you out of the weeds in business, reach out to me. My email, Christine@ChristineMcIver.com. We're going to connect, and I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader, but I'm also going to show you the gaps and what you can do to really change what's going on in your business and show you how to have pleasure in your business. All right, we are up to our first break of the show. Do not go away. I have so much more to cover with you. You're listening to Inspired Choices for business growth. I'm your host, Christine McIver, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Back to the program. All right, my friends, today we're talking all about planning and really optimizing what you're doing in business so that you can really be ready to optimize you and your business for 2025 and beyond. So, in the first segment, I really went into what it is that you, the entrepreneur, need to be doing about you. So if you missed that section, absolutely, you need to go back. Let's jump into reviewing what I went through in the first segment so that you really get reminded of this. It's an important aspect. All of these pieces are important for you to do this and to have these things on your list. So the very first thing is strategic planning. When I was talking about this, I was talking about both on a micro level and a macro level. So if you are going to grow your business for the future, you have to be doing both. I see a lot of business owners really focusing in on the tasks of today, but they have a very difficult time stepping back and looking beyond today. If you are going to be ready and planning for your growth for the future, you have to be doing both. You need to sit down, and not just once. Like, you should be doing this on a regular basis. I usually have a big kind of couple hour meeting where I'm really looking at all of the things that I want to be creating and planning. And then on a weekly basis, I'm checking in with those strategies. I'm checking in with, okay, what are we working on today? And what are we planning out, 3 months, 6 months out? If you're consistently going 6 months out, you'll always take care of your future. You don't have to go 5 years out. A lot of business owners struggle, big time struggle. And with going 5 years out, and then they get pulled into judgment, they get pulled into I'm not good enough, and get lost in all of that anxiety. Don't do that. I really suggest you start with your 3 and your 6 months. When you get that down pat and you're looking at even a conservative growth of 20% over 3 months, over 6 months, as you're doing this, and you do this for a couple of years, and you continuously have this strategic planning, and you're looking at this on a weekly basis for sure, you will begin to look farther out. You've got to strengthen that muscle in that strategic planning, but you definitely need to be doing it both on the micro and on the macro level. The next step that you need to be doing for sure is you need to have an inventory of your resources. What I see with a lot of entrepreneurs are inherently creative. They've created a product, they've created a service, they've created, several products, several services. Many of my entrepreneurs also are being interviewed, or they have their own TV show, their own radio show, their own podcast. And they're continuously in this space of creating. They're maybe creating items like lead magnets, they're creating documents, they're creating courses. They're doing a lot of creating, but they get lost in all of their resources, in all of their, if you think of it like your stock, your inventory. If you had a store and you had all of your items that you sold on your counters, on your shelves, you would have an inventory and you would know exactly at all times how many of this you have, how many of that you have, what's the expiry date on these items, how long you've had them for, what's the current pricing, what was the cost of that product, what's the cost of it today. You would have a full range of understanding of your products. I see so many entrepreneurs that are in the service business that lose stock of their inventory because they are creating so much, and they jump over and they start maybe putting it into their website. They're putting it into a CRM program. They're putting it into YouTube. They're putting their content all over the place, and they lose track of what they've actually created. Most entrepreneurs, I can tell you this, that have been in business for a few years have more stock than they realize. And they are losing out on opportunities of repurposing that stock. They're losing out on the resources that they can be bringing to the table. If you don't have a proper list of everything that you've created, how do you know when you can utilize that product with a new client, with a new prospect, with a new opportunity that's come your way? You need to have a pulse on everything you have created in your business. Absolutely create that list, have the location where that list is, have a summary of what that is, when you created it. That might be something that did really well, and you go back and you look at your list of your inventory and you think, hey, I'm going to bring that back in, and now that I have this new knowledge, I'm going to update that. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel, but you do need to know what you have in order to utilize that and leverage that in your business. Another really big thing that many people that, whether they are working for somebody else or they're in their own business, that they're not doing well is time management. They are not tracking how they spend their time. They are easily distracted, and they're having a hard time getting items done. One of the biggest things that I have done with every client I've ever worked with, if I challenge them to do time tracking for a minimum of 1 to 2 weeks. It's very simple. Let me tell you what I suggest that they do is that they list down on an Excel spreadsheet all of the tasks that they believe that they do in a day. Across the top, they have 20-minute increments, and all they do is put a 1 in that column line for that item that they do for 20 minutes. They stick at one task for 20 minutes, and then at the end of the day, at the end of the week, they add up how much time they are putting into each of these tasks. What inevitably happens is, one, they're shocked by how much time they're spending on certain items, i.e. maybe just scrolling on their phone or having long conversations with clients that or prospects that are not necessary. And the other thing is that they don't even realize off the top of their head how many tasks that they are doing. Their list that they originate with is oftentimes doubled by the time they've gone through this whole item for a week. Once we've done that, then you can go back and really hold yourself accountable to what you are doing. You could save so much time and in essence make more money in your business because you're being more efficient. But your time is your greatest resource. Remember, we were already talking about resources. This is your greatest one. You have to do time tracking. You've got to know where you're spending your time and holding yourself accountable. The next thing is developing systems. When you are putting standard operating procedures in place and you understand what needs to be done, when you hire someone, or you develop or expand your business, when you have your standard operating procedures in place, it's going to be easier and faster to train those people. It's going to be easier to hold them accountable. It's going to be easier to help them to grow as well. You're going to save time. Here we are again with the time. You're going to save your time and you're going to save their time. And you're going to know what's working and what's not working by your systems. How you regulate and review these procedures is so important, again, for the efficiencies and for the impact. This is where you're going to be able to track what's going on, and you're going to be able to look at your analytics based on what you're doing and where the efficiencies are being created. Automations. So a lot of people are talking about AI tools for automations. AI tools are a great resource. We've been using Google for 20 years now. AI is not new on the ground. The level of what is available to us through AI is great, but I really want to challenge you not to rely on AI as the main source, but to rely on you. So what I was talking about in the first segment is critical. You've got to really, really grow you. And then if you are utilizing AI tools as an asset to support your brilliance, to support your creativity, yes, that's going to assist you. Just like an Excel spreadsheet assists you in not adding up math manually, right? Just like so many different tools like spell check, everything. All these things are tools. Use AI as a tool, but not as your main source of intelligence and creativity. That's your job. That's your job. And one little thing, because I really, really see people relying on AI in a way that's going to catch them, is if you are utilizing content from AI that you don't know off the top of your head and you can't stand up or be questioned about it, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught that you are not the brains, but the computer is the brains behind the creation. So be careful, be mindful of that. The next thing I want to tell you about is optimizing your business security measures. Today, cybersecurity is so important. And while I am one of the first people to complain about having to go through 2 or 3 levels of security because it wastes my time, it is extremely important. If you've ever been breached with your assets, if you've ever been robbed online, I had it happen once. From a perspective of my bank card was actually utilized, and thankfully I check my bank account every single day to ensure that everything's going well and there's nothing unusual happening. Because of that fact, I was able to stop what could have been really disastrous. This goes for your banking. This goes for your website. This goes for your email. This goes for all of the accounts that you have across all of these different websites. Do you have a list of all the websites where you have a profile? If you don't have a list and you're just using an online password programming, you could be caught in a problem in the future. Do keep a separate list from your security online so you know exactly where your information is out there. And that's also important when you are utilizing your resources. You can see what profiles you already have and where you maybe want to change some of your branding. And that's the next thing, is reviewing and refining your business branding. Does your business branding of what you created 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, does it really read with you today? Here's the thing, as you grow, remember, and you elevate and you continue to become more and more of an expert in your field, your business branding may change. And I would suggest that likely every single solitary person's branding will evolve as they evolve and as the business evolves. So it's important to go back to that and check that. And if you have all of these accounts across all sorts of different websites and you don't know where to go to update your branding, you're not going to be connecting with people that are going on those sites that are looking for what you have to offer, but they can't see it because your branding is outdated. Extremely important. All right, the last thing, and then we're going to go to our next break, we want to talk about is visibility and expertise. Pardon me. So business owners need to be proactive in gaining visibility and consistently elevating their expertise. When you're considering platforms like podcasts, it's crucial to be strategic and ensure that the audience aligns with what you're doing and that the business targets of that owner are also in alignment with what you are doing. You simply showing up on a platform and doing a podcast, that's not effective. It's certainly not going to be utilizing your time well. You're going to be speaking to the airwaves and nobody's going to be listening because the alignment is out. Make strategic choices when you are showing up with your business expertise on other people's platforms. Saying, hell, I was on 20 podcasts this week, I was on 100 podcasts this year, that means absolutely nothing. If that does not result in you growing and your business growing, you need to rethink that. And if you're not in alignment, you actually having your content on somebody else's platform that is out of alignment with your values and your branding, that can actually come back to hit you negatively. That's not what you want to be doing. So visibility is so important. Getting your expertise out there is so important, but it must be aligned choices. And remember, inspired choices is the best choice that you can be making, because the inspired choices is something that's coming from within you. And that means it's aligned with you and the direction that you desire to go and the direction that you grow in. All right, we are up to our next break. Stick around, my friends. We've got more to share with you. I know the list is getting long, but each of these pieces are going to support you. So you're listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth. I'm your host, Christine McIver. We're on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, my friends, I've really been throwing a lot at you, and I know I talk really, really fast, and I apologize for that. I do hope that you've been making a list, that you've been writing down the things that you know, oh yeah, that would be good. And also the things that you like, oh, you kind of cringe at. A lot of people cringe at the idea of tracking their time. I get it. I get that that can be like, oh my God, I don't really want to see that. And you are the business owner. You, as the business owner, must hold every employee accountable. And you are the very first employee of your business. If you are not doing all of these tasks, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to expect that from other people. Now, you may expect it very easily. It may just roll off your shoulders, but you're not going to be efficient and you're not going to be able to see where your team members are being inefficient. This is a critical piece. You've got to walk your talk. You've got to be able to step up and see where you need to grow. You can be an example for other people, and you're going to learn so much more about you when you do this. It's going to be one of the greatest assets that you've ever done. And it may even be one of the most painful. It may be really, really emotionally difficult for you to acknowledge your gaps. But I am telling you, when you do, and you begin to see that no matter what it is, you can face it, that's the resiliency that you're going to be requiring as we move forward in 2025 and beyond. Business today is very different than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. We are we have to be more transparent than we've ever been, and we are easily found out if we're not walking our talk. The way that business is structured, the way that businesses are accessible, the way that content is accessible, the way that people really are aware. We have a smarter clientele today than we've ever had before. People are embracing their cognitive abilities. They are embracing their intuitive abilities. They are following new protocols in order for them to be intelligent and in order for them to be able to see what is really working for them and where the truth is and where it's not. You're going to be found out. Why not find out for yourself first? Why not show up and be that transparent? I know that when I'm talking to my clients and I'm telling them about the challenges and the mountains that I've climbed and the things that I've moved beyond, I know that it shows them, first of all, I walk my talk. Second of all, I understand where they're coming from and I've been there. I can support them on that path. Your clientele is going to come to you, is going to be energetically attracted to you from the energies that you are being. So when you have been down that road of difficulty and you've done what it took to move beyond it, when you are attracting people to you, it's because of that. It's because of the expertise, the energy that you're putting out there, and where you have been. These are going, you just by you doing this, you're going to inevitably start to attract more people to you, right? Nobody, myself included, wants to be with someone who thinks they know it all. We don't. We want to know that we are connecting with a human being, that we are connecting with someone who has flaws, someone who acknowledges their flaws, someone who is holding themselves accountable to grow so that they can be a better person, a better leader in the world. Every single solitary great leader has had their own falls. You too. It's okay to admit when we have fallen down. What's not acceptable anymore is admitting the truth and growing ourselves in it. Your clientele is looking for you, and they may be looking specifically at where you have grown and what you are willing to admit to. You don't know. But what I do know is if you don't grow you, you won't grow your business. That's the long and the short of it. All right, let's get into some additional things that you want to be doing in order to optimize your business for 2025 and beyond. So we've talked about AI. Let's talk about some automations, though. A lot of people will have a few automations, like most entrepreneurs will have some kind of booking link. Now, their booking link might be something very simple where somebody just goes in, they find a time that they want, and they book it. But it doesn't have a great automation system that supports that. So years ago, when I had my first booking link, it would just allow somebody to book, and then it would send them the confirmation that they were booked. What it wouldn't do is it wouldn't follow up with an email reminder. It wouldn't give them like a calendar reminder. It wouldn't actually drop right into their calendar. And what ended up happening was I spent a lot of time chasing people down for time that they had booked on my calendar. That didn't create a great relationship out of the gate. And they were frustrated because they may have written it down and then lost it. They may have put it somewhere in their calendar, but then didn't put in or didn't receive the link as to where we were to meet. And that becomes a time waster and a financial waster. And then that relationship starts to break down. This may seem very, very simple to you, But it's so critical that we are supporting our clientele and our prospective clientele. What does the email look like? How often are they getting a reminder? Is the link in there? If somebody says to you, "Oh, I wasn't able to find this," do you dig into that or do you ignore it because you're not comfortable with tech? What is it that you're doing in these very simplified automations, or what are you not doing that is actually costing you money? Ask someone, give someone one of your booking links and ask them, can you please go book this? And can you forward me the emails that you receive, or tell me what happens when it comes into your computer? And here's the thing, my friends, everybody's computer system may be different. They may be using an older program on their computer. They may be using a PC. They might be using a Mac. Maybe they just operate from an iPad or from their phone. All of these different appliances, all of these have a different way of your automations showing up for them. This is important for you to understand this and get this seamlessly set up. This one automation can save you so much frustration, but there's lots of other automations that you can have, automatic emails and newsletters. You can be have a nurturing email system for your clientele. Maybe you have something that you send out on a daily basis and you want to be able to communicate and have the images show up beautifully and the links show up beautifully. All of these automations will provide support for your business growth. And then those customers or those prospective customers can begin to rely on trust with you because they know when something shows up, it's going to be seamless, it's going to be easy, and you are a professional. Again, these automations speak loudly to your frustrations, to your professionalism, and they lower your frustrations with your business. Slow down to speed up is one of the best things I was ever told when I started my business. And it still to this day is something that I know, okay, if I'm setting something new up, I need to slow down. I need to lay everything out with my team, and we need to look at every single aspect, create a system so that we can get it to run and allow it to work for us. This is what automation does for you, and this is what's going to support you in your business growth. You want to also look at your SEO, your search engine optimization, and your voice search optimization. All of these optimizations are going to brand things for you and have you be more discoverable. Search engine optimization is not simple. It's not easy. It's not something that you just one day say, okay, I'm going to do this, and with no education. It may be something that would be a really great thing for you to invest in hiring someone to do this type of work for your business, for your email creations, for your website, for all of the content that you're putting out there. When you hire someone to do this type of work, you are going to increase the probability of when people are searching for what you deliver, your level of expertise, they're going to be able to find you even faster. And you want people to be able to be in alignment with what they find of yours. So if you have the wrong search engine optimization done on your website or your content, and they come across you, they may even give you a bad review because it's not what should have shown up when they search for that specific item. I hope that makes sense. It's definitely something that if you're not comfortable with computers, it's not something that I would encourage you to play with, and to go down that deep, dark hole of search engine optimization can really be overwhelming. So it's something that is important today for sure, but it may be something that would be something you would want to invest in. So really do please consider that. The other big piece is having and maintaining your omnipresence across all different platforms, various platforms, having that consistency of you showing up with your content, having you consistently showing up on all of the platforms and being the content on those platforms being relevant. is so important. There is nothing worse for your business image than for you to have created a profile somewhere and then you just let it die on the vine. When someone comes across a profile, when I come across someone's profile, and I do deep dark searches on all sorts of platforms for people, like they'll say to me, oh yeah, I'm on this platform and this platform and this platform, and I'll be like, okay, well, I can go check those out, and I'll check out your website, and I do a full deep dark dive. I also go on the platforms that they say that they didn't tell me about, and I will find outdated old content. That outdated old content looks like you are not active, that you're not professional. Maybe you've got a really, really old image. They've seen you one place and you look very, very different than the images that you have out there. All of these pieces, again, lead back to trust. How can somebody, a future client, a client prospect, a customer prospect, how can they trust you if what they're discovering really says, I don't stay on top of things, I let things just hang out there and die? One of the biggest, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, is people that start blogs on their websites and then let them die. If you're no longer keeping up with a blog that's on your website, get rid of it. Take it down. It speaks to you being sloppy. Who wants to hire somebody that's sloppy, that puts outdated content, just again, dying on the vine on that website? People are looking to validate you before they ever have a conversation with you. Your visibility and your presence across the web on all these different platforms, whether you're active there or not, speaks a great deal to you. This is extremely important. If you're trying to get more visibility, you need to check and see where you're showing up first and foremost. All right, we are up to our next break of this show. Do come back. We've got a few more things that we want to definitely go through with you. And again, if you're looking for someone that's going to support you in all these different areas, really help to get you aligned, build a strategy, build programs that is going to help you and your business grow, reach out to me, Christine at christinemciver.com. Let's have a conversation. Let's really move you forward with massive jumps, massive speed, and create a lot more pleasure for you and your business. We'll be right back after this break.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Yes, back to the program. I know I've gone through a lot and I've probably overwhelmed many of you or lost many of you. And I hope that's not the case, because each of these pieces I know is a vital piece to grow you and to grow your business. In order to grow We must learn to optimize. And if we're not optimizing, we are leaving money on the table. We're leaving opportunities without us opening those doors. And we have gaps. We have gaps in our business that are not necessary. A couple years ago, maybe it's even 3 years ago, I knew that there needed to be a big change in my business. So one of my businesses, we have the Inspired Choices Network, where we produce online live radio, podcasts, and TV shows. And what you're listening to or watching right now is part of that. So I knew that there needed to be a big change. There was changes the way that people were looking for content support. There were changes on the level of support they were looking for, the different options they were looking for. I knew that I needed to really address that. And I also knew that one of the big things that I was going to just talk about was finances and costing and budgeting and so on. All of that, I knew that needed to be reviewed. What we had created many years prior no longer held water with the rising cost of prices and with the services that we were delivering. The services, oftentimes, this happens in many businesses. You'll set a price and then you will give them more and more services on top of that, but you don't increase your pricing. That was where it was many years ago. So, about 3 years ago, I believe it was, I sat down and I went through every single solitary aspect of what we create. Every single solitary aspect. That took me weeks to go through that, to look to make sure I had every piece of it. I evaluated how much time every single step took. I evaluated whether those steps were necessary. If those steps were no longer necessary, were there other things that we wanted to add? And as I went through this, we developed different levels of service, and the pricing needed to match. It needed to be honorable to the client. It also needed to honor the company and what the company was going to be requiring. And that slowing down was frustrating to me. And today I am confident with what we're doing. I'm confident that we are covering our costs and the company is able to grow. I am confident in what we are offering and our systems that we have in place. To be able to know that these offers are solid and strong and the systems that we have in place support the team and the clientele, that is pleasurable to me. When you can sit down and really look at all the aspects of your business and you can have that level of confidence, the slowing down to speed up is well worth it. You do need, there's so many more things that I wanted to talk about, but one of the big things you need to be doing is you need to really be looking at your costing. You need to be looking at what it's costing you first and foremost. You need to be building in price increases. You need to be building in for changes, different situations. You want to have a seamless customer journey for your customers, but you need to make sure that all of your financial planning is in place and it's solid for everyone in line. And if you haven't done that and you're not doing that on a yearly basis, it's definitely time you did. Otherwise, and this was a lot of people do, they ignore it, and they're working harder and harder every year, but they're making less and less money and not covering their costs the way that they should be. This is critical. So you need to be going through that. You also need to look at your company culture, and you need to look at your employee well-being, how you're supporting them, how your company is being seen, what it is that your clientele needs, but also what your team needs, and what kind of company culture you want to be having to grow your business in 2025 and beyond. There's so much more. One of the biggest things, of course, is your thought leadership. Where are you as a leader in your business? Where are you with yourself? Where are you with your team? And then where are you with your customers? There is endless amounts of things that I could be going through with you. I would love to do that one-on-one with you. Do reach out. Let's get the support that you need, and let's really change the future of your business to support you, your team, and the future business that you are desiring. You can reach out to me, Christine, at christinemciver.com. Check out my website, christinemciver.com. You'll see all the services that I have there. Do come back again for another show here on the Inspired Choices Network, Inspired Choices for Business Growth. If you like what you're hearing, I would love you to go over to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. I'd be so grateful. And that helps to really get this knowledge out to the people that need to hear it and are looking for this kind of support. Remember, my friends, no matter what, you can always make another choice. Until next time, take good care and keep choosing for you. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.